Uh-oh. Did it not go live?
Oh, no, it's live.
Oh, it's live now.
Hello, I'm Mr. WD-40. How you doing today?
Liberation Day is coming. We are doing our podcast today over the Charlie Kirk episode. Liberation Day is coming. What you can expect from Trump's tariffs plan. I am Hagen Crockett, and this is...
Charles.
I'm Morgan, love.
I'm not saying my last name on live stream. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm saying mine because my last name's absolutely adorable.
So do y'all have anything before we start the video?
My enemies. Anyway,
since it's going over Trump's tariff plans that are going in act today.
Ooh.
I will have to say it's going to be interesting to see how this will affect our economy. Because historically, I don't, if I remember reading it correctly, it's not been the best. But who knows? It might be different this time.
I hope it brings down inflation. I had to write multiple papers on that.
Right, and then Israel already dropped their tariffs.
Yeah.
And that Trump will like I find fun of the whole superstitious. We're not going to impose all this April 1st.
That's funny, honestly. April Fools, you've got tariffs.
April Fools tariffs.
Yeah.
We're taxing your country 150%.
150%.
I do hope it actually helps some of those countries calm down.
Oh yeah, and then hoping Canada drops their tariffs, or we just take like that part of Canada.
Alberta,
yeah. If we just take that part of Canada because
50th state,
well,
51st state.
51st state.
I support the idea we just cut Canada in half and build a highway to Alaska.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome.
Cool.
Of course, I've been to Alaska before, so it would definitely make travel easier.
Without further ado, let's start the episode.
It's called Liberation Day. President Donald Trump has said that there is going to be a liberation in this country. There will be tariffs put on every country that has tariffs against us. There will be reciprocity, and there will be tariffs across the board. The Trump administration is planning its biggest round of tariffs yet this Wednesday. Now, do not look at your stock portfolio. Do not do that this week. Make a promise to yourself. Take the app off your phone. Do not look at your stock portfolio. Say, this week and maybe for a couple weeks, I am not going to look at it because it's going to get a little bit bumpy. We're in for some turbulence. Now, we already have tariffs on Canada and Mexico, but what we're getting now is a big wave of reciprocal tariffs. These are tariffs that President Trump is imposing as retaliation for similar tariffs that have imposed on American goods in other countries. For example, India has a huge tariff on Harley Davidsons. Just stuff like this. Big screen TV tariffs in Japan. If we are going to be tariffed, then we will tariff back. Last year, the U.S. trade deficit with the rest of the planet passed $1.2 trillion. That's a record. And there are no signs of things getting better unless we took dramatic action. America has been becoming a country that produces nothing and only buys. That ends in national bankruptcy.
That's why we're in so much debt.
We are seeing a geopolitical restructuring on our terms. We have a choice. We could ignore what is obviously the rebalancing of the international world order and continue be a consumer economy. If you are strictly a consumer economy, you are subservient and held hostage to the internationalist and globalist forces. We are tired of being cheated, and President Trump has talked about this issue for decades.
Hey everybody, my name is Sam, aka Sambucha, and I'm a YouTuber who makes variety content ranging from challenge.
Ad break right there.
Let's go over what we just saw.
Let's go over it.
All right.
You used a big word there.
Yeah, so obviously the Canada and Mexico tariffs are going very, very well.
Right.
And I think Mexico's already dropped all their tariffs.
I don't know.
I believe so.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I believe so.
Something I would like to...
Oh yeah, thank you for the one viewer that's watching.
The one viewer, thank you.
We're making progress. Let's see if we can get any followers this stream.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you.
What?
Kamsahamnida is thank you in Korean.
Oh,
cool.
Fancy.
Fancy?
And then
how do you say thank you in Japanese and itadakimasu? I don't know. That's what they say before they eat.
Oh yeah, and then the tariff on Harley Davidson is funny.
That's interesting. That's that specific.
Yeah, that's specific. Like, they might just be against the gays.
Oh yeah, because Harley was woke for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let me see.
You got anything, Charles?
Give me a second.
You usually have a lot about these topics.
I'm formulating my words. Give me a second.
Yeah,
Yes.
formulate your words, Charles. Formulate your words so I don't get banned.
Chill, Crockett.
This is our future president right here.
Future president.
I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, Alright, you people made me lose while I'm singing tariffs. Yeah, something I really hope that does result because of this, because I know that the next few weeks or months are going to be probably very turbulent as far as the economy goes. So gases are going to be 5 cents, so it's going to be 50.
You never know.
But I'm really hoping that us doing this and becoming more self-reliant will help us grow as a country and become more unified under that front of becoming, well, we need to establish ourselves as a country that can stand on its own 2 feet and doesn't have to depend on other sources. I mean, that's how, like, if the other sources all of a sudden go, oh, we're cutting you off now, we're just going to collapse in on ourselves.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, our economy collapsed a lot in 2020. Not just because of COVID. I know people are going to say that. No, we collapsed because of inflation, and then our prices went up for less product, the supply and demand. And now we're finally starting to see it drop. Hopefully it'll drop for good. I know there are things that I want to do, like go see concerts, and Trump's trying to get concert tickets to go down. Maybe it'll be cheaper to go see a wrestling match. You never know.
Never know. No, that's about it.
Yeah, okay. That's right now for our start.
Okay,
We're 2 minutes in.
2 minutes in. Let's move on to the next section.
Somebody said, well, what would you do? What can you do?
12.
So easy. I drop a 25% tax on China. And you know, I said to somebody that it's really the messenger. The messenger is important. I could have one man say, we're going to tax you 25%. And I could say another, listen, we're going to tax you 25%.
I wonder what he said.
We have one shot and one shot only to fix this. We have one opportunity. While we are still the wealthiest nation in the world, and the incumbent economic player, we have one chance to do this. You see, post-World War II and the World War II based order, America decided to become a consumer economy. We don't really make much in this country anymore. We make mobile apps, we build homes, and we have a banking sector that is robust and the best on the planet. For now. What else do we actually physically make? Now, there are some small manufacturing companies that have still persisted.
Yes.
But we signed a series of trade agreements. The North Atlantic Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA.
I'm in Korea.
We allowed China to go into WTO in the late 1990s.
Okay, let's pause that. Okay. So, as Morgan just said, repeat that because the video was playing.
Okay. The Made in China stickers are actually made in Korea.
Great point right there. That's hilarious.
And most of
our stuff is made in China.
Or
Yeah.
China or Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's also nice that they're building more factories here. Like, I think Honda's building a factory somewhere in the U.S.
Toyota, I think.
Toyota's building one. Like everybody's trying to move back into the U.S. to build stuff.
So actually, interesting fact about Honda and Nissan. I believe recently they announced that they are merging as companies. They'll become the 3rd largest car manufacturer in the world as a joint venture.
That's interesting. What are the 2 biggest ones, like Volkswagen?
Ford?
Yeah. The top one's Toyota.
Oh, yeah.
Volkswagen, and then if this deal goes through, I believe it will be Honda and Nissan. I can't remember who's the 3rd currently. I actually think it's a Chinese state-owned car company.
Okay.
Do your research on that.
Yeah, do your research.
Yeah. Feel free to leave comments.
Tell us in the chat.
Yeah. We aren't doing ChatGPT here, y'all.
Okay. Anyway,
Y'all just
let's keep going.
Okay, let's just keep
So
going.
have decided to get rid of almost all tariffs over the last 30 to 40 years because we believed that free trade would make us richer. Now, while free trade has allowed us to get more stuff, has it actually made us a richer country? I had this debate with a strict libertarian on campus. He called himself a libertarian economist. And I said, the political question is not just whether or not we are getting economically wealthier, it's whether or not our communities are strong, our families are staying formed. It's whether or not an average worker can afford to have his or her part of the American dream. It's whether or not we have a vibrant and connected culture in our country. We have lost 5 million manufacturing jobs in the last 20 years.
The American dream depends on the person too. So
Yeah.
like when they're saying like his or her slice of the American dream, it really depends on your viewpoints.
That is true.
Because like the American dream for some people might be wealth, but for others it might be having a stable family life.
Life,
agree.
liberty.
The pursuit of happiness. Jinx, you want a Coke?
I don't have any down here, so.
I got
Oh,
20. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
I got one over.
You got any points to make, Charles? Well, it's stopped right now.
No, that's actually a really good point. It's just, I always think it's sorry that I said no, and then you're doing this.
oh no!
I always think it's
Hey,
funny whenever
you
people
can't
say,
do the right arm up.
Oh, my heart goes out to you.
Don't get us banned, please.
It's my channel. How am I going to get banned?
Yeah,
Streamlabs trying
I'm
to kick me
building
out.
alt switch later. How am I going to get banned?
yeah. I guess you're right. Thank you to the one viewer who's actually enjoying our chaos.
It might be myself or this live or that.
It might be that shot from last night. Anyway, so I always think it's funny whenever people say the American dream is dead.
No,
It's not.
it's
But-
not.
I always think that's funny because I don't think they realize, like, if you just didn't have a totally nihilistic view of life and actually worked towards trying to build a better future, I think we'd be a lot farther than we are now. But no, you had to go mope around in your house and your, I don't know, big socks and pajamas all day. They wondering why you can't afford rent.
I actually got something on that. Is that, as we know, the laws of the universe, everything wants to get to a lower state of energy, right?
Yeah.
So
Street.
there you go, getting to a lower state of energy. A dog runs around, goes and lays in the shade. Gets got rid of all the high energy and wants to get down to lower energy. Balls want to get to a lower point of energy. Humans, we want to do nothing unless we have the drive to, but we all want to stay at a low point of energy. It's natural law.
Yeah. Chemistry. Everything
Chemistry.
wants 8 electrons.
Yes, everything wants to be perfect.
Exactly. But nothing's perfect.
Yeah, but nothing's perfect.
5 million. And what we have learned is that when we lose those manufacturing jobs, when those factories are closed, there is a wage reduction for that worker by 11 to 22%. This was a bipartisan study done by Congress. So when a factory worker is no longer building a dishwasher or a big screen TV or a pickup truck, and they find a replacement job, there is a wage reduction of 11 to 22%. Wages, since the World Trade Organization entrance of China into this compact and since NAFTA was passed, wages for the bottom 10% have only rose 4% over the last 30 years. We have closed 60,000 factories in the last 12 years. 60,000 factories.
So who wants to go ghost hunting in those?
This space battle made video game
Okay,
history.
we've talked recently,
Thousands
so
of
let's just
players
skip this.
flying player-built ships.
Yeah.
Where do you have a lot of people like
We call them the muscular class on this country, and the muscular class has been completely and totally decimated, eliminated.
What's the muscular class according
In 1985,
It's probably blue.
it took 30 weeks of
That
work
makes sense.
to support a family of 4. 30 weeks of work to be able to have housing, health care, send your kids to school, get a car. And that means you could save money. That means your wife did not have to go into the workforce. She could if she wanted to, but if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, it was perfectly fine. It made financial sense.
Anybody else knows how many pictures of Trump he has?
Bro, mighty obsessed.
Now it takes 62 weeks of work for an average worker to be able to support a family of 4. 62 weeks of work.
There's only
Which means that one of two things have to happen. The family has to go into debt to just support a family of 4, or the wife has to go into the workforce, which then means the kid has to go to daycare. And if you have to do daycare, that's obviously necessary for a lot of people, but it's not ideal for many families. Many moms would prefer to be with their kids when they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. They would prefer to be stay-at-home moms during those formative years. Free trade absolutism has hurt our nuclear families. It has weakened our communities. So we have one shot to do this. We have one shot, and there is going to be a hardware renaissance the same way that we have seen a software renaissance. Advanced robotics and advanced manufacturing is going to be the new economic growth curve.
Viva America!
Where are these tools of the future going to be built? The hardware renaissance to build the rockets and the potential flying cars and the autonomous vehicles, President Trump understands that there is this window. There is this momentary window where we can finally rebalance and course correct the mistakes of the last 40 or 50 years. And you can only do that while you are still the incumbent economic player. And as that window is starting to close, President Trump is trying to run right through it. And that is what he means by Liberation Day.
Liberation!
Okay.
Liberation!
Okay.
There's a lot that he just went over there in like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot. Holy shit. We're almost 8 minutes into this, and oh my gosh.
We're gonna have a lot of commentary on this.
A lot.
Please, we need more viewers.
Okay. Stop trying to farm views right now.
Farm views. Subscribe. Follow. Give me Twitch subs right now.
Hey, I would be a great YouTuber.
I need a baguette.
I need a packet.
Okay.
Okay, I can go buy one off of like maybe 5 subs.
Okay. Moving back to the actual video.
Okay, back to the video.
Okay. So it did touch on a very interesting point about the free trade absolutism being hurtful.
Yeah.
I do think it's one of those things where most things in this world are good in moderation.
Yes.
For instance, even water. I think this is actually a very good example. Water, if you drink the proper amount every day, is very beneficial to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you drink too much, it actually damages you more than not. Believe me, I've been on campouts. I have overhydrated. It sucks. Don't do it.
Don't
Yeah,
do
no.
drugs, kids.
Yeah, I know. I was there, Charles.
I was there.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Don't
So-
do drugs, kids.
so I mean it's not everything, especially when it comes to the government. Everything needs to be in moderation.
Yes.
You need to watch what's happening. You need to adjust with it, so that way we don't end up with it's about $7 trillion in debt or whatever it's up to now.
It's like
Yeah, and like
3.7 trillion.
And the
Okay,
hundreds
so now
of
it's
thousands of government workers.
Yeah, that's
do nothing.
way
And I think, as we touched on in our earlier podcast discussion, it was quite surprising to learn that our government kept sending food, water, and all sorts of other stuff to empty offices for 10 years?
Yeah, and that they were holding all those documents in a mine. Yeah, that was crazy. That they were holding all those important documents in a mine. Like an honest mine, like a cave. Went in a cave and just put like government documents in there.
That's.
People's social security numbers, credit card numbers, all put in there.
Please don't.
This is why it takes so long to find everything.
And yet, whenever Doge came through, cleaned it all out, fixed all of it, all these liberal Democrats like, oh, he sucks now. He got rid of all of our free meals and free money. Let's go burn down Cybertrucks.
Yeah, that. Okay.
Which is funny because aren't a lot of them environmentalists too? And by
Right, like it's,
burning Cybertrucks, you release a crap ton of carbon dioxide and all that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's way more than a normal gas car.
Yeah, and another thing too, the Cinderella movie has been a complete flop, and the
Snow White.
It's
The
the
Snow White. Sorry,
yeah.
my brain.
The Snow White movie is funny because you have like the seven of LGBTQ dwarves. Yeah,
Yeah, and the thing about that too, instead of her being the fairest of them all as in white skin, she's the fairest of them all as in she's a communist.
so you're telling me that Disney made a
I
big
almost
mistake?
said something really bad right there,
Oh
people. So I don't like communists. I've read what Russia did. I'm also a person that really likes art. I know what they do to artists. So if that explains it briefly.
So
no!
you're
We all
telling us
know a communist who was a failed artist, though.
So you're telling us to reject another German artist and see what happens?
Okay, I'm going to give you two a history lesson. Fascism and communism don't agree with each other.
You know this. We're making fun of you, bud.
Oh, I see.
Okay, let's keep moving because we are almost 40 minutes in. Dang.
Germany does not allow us to sell Ford vehicles in Germany without ridiculous tariffs.
Yeah.
So why is it that we should allow the importation of VWs and Mercedes-Benz and BMWs?
And BMW.
Japan is the same. Why should we allow the importation of Toyota and Honda? South Korea the same. Why should we allow Hyundai to have themselves dump their products into the United States? So what is about to ensue is, ladies and gentlemen, there is turbulence ahead. There will be some bumps coming. But on the other side of this bumps is a recalibration of how we finance our government and how our economy is structured. Because if we do nothing and we continue to engage in the cheap money spigot brought to you by unfettered free trade policies, we will have no manufacturing base. We'll be nothing but a consumerist economy where we are just a colony that buys stuff. No, a country is definitionally strong based on whether or not you make stuff
He's really good off reading
in your nation.
I do think our country.
And if you don't, you're no longer a country. You're simply a colony that barters goods. It is a geopolitical restructuring on our terms. And President Trump has the political courage and mandate to make it happen. I want to play this piece of tape here first from the head of the UAW, the United Auto Workers. What he says is very important. Tariffs and the threat of a tariff is a forcing function to allow companies to make them redomicile. We want to onshore manufacturing. We want to see a redomiciling renaissance. Play cut 82.
There is plenty of opportunity, and I've had companies tell us point blank that they're going to have to bring product back here if those tariffs are implemented.
That's a good thing.
It's a really good thing.
Ready to unlock Roblox digital gift cards?
Well, okay. First off, don't stare so blankly into the screen, Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
We love you, but it's not a staring contest.
It's not, but like him reading it off was painful
Yeah.
because he's sitting there with his little phone right there reading it.
Yeah.
That's why I said he might need teleprompter because that's what I think. The guy that we did the last one on, he had a teleprompter.
No, he read.
Yep. Oh yeah. He read
He had paper.
Yeah, he read all his piece of paper and tablet in front of him. Yeah, that
But
makes sense.
I'm curious, what's the earpiece about, Charlie?
It's
Charlie
a-
Kirk's got an earpiece.
It might be the first producer to say something. But
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe like feeding him information so he doesn't look down the entire time.
Yeah, be like, Charlie, look up, meet the camera.
Yeah, beat the camera.
Yeah.
Do we call him? Just say Kirk because it's throwing me off. Anytime y'all start with Charlie,
Charlie Kirk!
Mr. Kirk,
that works.
Mr. Worldwide.
Let's do a fight. Anyway,
Yeah,
let's go.
okay, let's keep moving.
You know.
Y'all get it?
Slow ad break.
I thought it was a little longer than that, but it's still very powerful. And that's exactly right. The president of the UAW understands that all of the parts associated with making a vehicle, these companies might have to bite the bullet, and they might have to say no to their McKinsey consultants and bring them back to America. I want to do a 1-2 combo here. This was played on Jesse Waters' show, and I have to give the Jesse Waters production team a lot of credit. This is a phenomenal poll. This video has been memory hold. This is a video before I was born in 1992 of a frontline report in Allentown, Johnstown, Pennsylvania, where they were talking about one of these 60,000 factories that were closed. Listen to this frontline news report and then multiply this by 60,000. And we just handed China global superpower status. What we did throughout all of this is we handed China global superpower status. Here, China, go become our greatest enemy. Why? Because we want cheaper plastic and trinkets, and the Wall Street class wants to be able to go make an extra couple $100 million bucks. The people like Mitt Romney and Bain Capital. Play cut 123.
For ages, hot molten steel has been the lifeblood of Johnstown, vigorously pumping dollars and jobs through the city's veins. But now the pulse of the community is in cardiac arrest. Bethlehem officials aren't making any more comments than what's contained in this press release. They're sorry, but it's simply not cost-effective to run the mill any longer.
It does hurt, and there's a dramatic spin-off that's going to come from that, and there's going to be a lot of problems that have to be solved.
In part, Bethlehem cites fierce foreign competition and the national economy for their demise. For some Bethlehem employees, it's hard to look past the shocking news.
Don't rely on a corporation that don't want you, in a sense. And they don't care, you know. You don't need a number.
Who knows?
Charles in the past life.
That reminds me of a scene out of the movie Wall Street, which is a phenomenal movie. Anacott Steel. In fact, Ryan, we should cut up parts of that movie Wall Street. As far as in drama form, it goes to show the moneyed Wall Street class that parachuted in and closed and deindustrialized our country. The top 1% benefited massively from this because they got higher margins.
I've got some things to say here. Hold on. So, what are you qualifying? Sorry. I said qualifying. What are you qualifying?
No, Charles.
Our VP of Communications, people.
Not communications correspondence. I'm better at writing than I am at speaking. Thank you. But, like, what makes up this 1% in Charlie's point of view? Like, is it this truly, like... I have a feeling that it's these politicians that are kind of taking all the money. They're, like, hush moneying it. Maybe. I don't know.
The 1%, that's from my understanding
CEOs.
of what it is. Not even them all the time. A lot of it seems to be some investment companies. Because I think he mentioned the McKinsey and Company.
Yeah, he did.
Show
Yeah.
that they have their hands in a lot of things, from what I hear. And it's kind of that thing to where, well, once they've gained this much power through investments and through different types of dealings, to the point where they're in that place, most of the time they're going to try to keep it one way or another, if it means hurting a nation.
Like Bezos, in a way. I don't know. Bezos could give everybody in the U.S. $1 million and still have billions left over.
That might not be...
It's a bad idea. Like, that idea right there is a bad idea because of, one, inflation.
Yeah, because I mean, if everybody has $1 million, then prices go... and then we're going to be back where we were to where...
We're at square one.
It's going to be like those Africa countries or Germany after World War One, where it's going like their dollar's not even worth 1 cent in our modern money.
Right, and then that would make Jeff Bezos not rich anymore. Like, he'd be poor.
And everybody would be at that point. We'd actually become a third world country.
Yeah. That's a horrible idea.
But wouldn't Bezos qualify as 1% with how much he has? And, like, he's kind of in everything.
Yeah, sure. I would say he qualifies in that 1% of people that benefited.
Yeah. And then what is it? that like his little girl toy or something that was there at the inauguration. She was wearing like the most inappropriate outfit there.
Yeah, I saw that, which is a little iffy for the guy running Microsoft, right?
Amazon.
He's Amazon.
That's
Microsoft
Amazon.
is
Amazon.
was it Bill Gates?
Yeah, Gates.
Yeah, Bill Gates and
Is he still?
yeah, he's still going.
Okay.
Bill Gates, he got in that like giant scandal in 2020 about like the microchips in people's brains or something.
Epstein's Island.
Oh my gosh, that too.
Didn't the Clintons get revealed beyond that list?
Yes, they were the #1 frequent visitors.
Bill Clinton has a picture in Epstein's home.
Yeah. There's a picture of Epstein and Bill Clinton together.
Yeah, I'm more worried about what Hillary did while she was there.
Oh, why do you say that?
She was diddling children.
Oh no!
So you are deep. Okay, let's just keep rolling.
Let's keep going.
While we're waiting for the band to come in, let's just keep watching this.
Let's wait for the.
It used to be where you were able to build an automobile, a computer, a skyscraper, an ocean liner, a fighter jet, entirely with parts manufactured in the United States.
I'm gonna be there.
The era where you could do that was the apex of American success and power. Now, the country that can build all those things on its own is China. Is it any surprise that they're now our #1 rival and probably our enemy? Is it any surprise it looks like they are winning? When you make things, you learn how to design them. When you stop making them, you forget. The brain power, the design power, the skills, the ability to fix things, build things, poof, all gone, vanished. And President Trump is now maximizing this opportunity we'll never get again. Look, all of our stocks are going to go down. My stocks, your stocks, for a moment of time. And then it will be a golden era ramp up. It is a short window. Did you know that over...
So, from what I'm hearing, is they saying everybody's stocks is going down. So, a great idea that came to me, if everybody's stocks is going to plummet from all these tariffs, what if you go buy all the stocks for really, really, really cheap? Because they all plummeted.
Yeah. It's gonna be like the 1920s all over again.
Yeah, right. And then as soon as it starts going back up, and watch it, and once it reaches or stables back out, you
The
sell.
problem is you might actually do. Problem is that's what happened in 1920, and two, you might have another 2008 housing situation.
You might, but if you catch it right now, you could make like a whole lot of money off of it.
We're not professional people. Don't listen to our advice.
Do not listen to us. We're not.
Don't crash the economy because of this, man.
Do it.
I don't want to deal with it, please.
Do it.
I like my books. I don't need to pay $60 for a picture book.
Do it. It'd be funny.
Me too.
Games are already expensive as they are. Don't raise it anymore, please.
Fair. Okay. Deal.
Next Nintendo game's $100. Anyway.
Fair. Push the
Oh
button.
no! Now he's gonna do his little advertisement. We gotta skip it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Oh.
Stop.
Hold on. Just push the video.
Stop being anime.
For 140 players on there. Now, this conversation. Rick's email me, freedom@charliekirk.com for any feedback or questions. Joining us now is Senator Rick Scott from the great state of Florida. Senator, I want to continue this conversation about President Trump's tariffs and Liberation Day. It is time for us to reindustrialize the country. You have a background that I think would be interesting. You've done a lot of venture capital, a lot of investments and things that have actually built stuff in this country. Talk about the need that we invest in the backbone, in the muscular class of our country.
Number one, we want American jobs. I built the largest hospital company in the world. And then after that, I built a variety of manufacturing companies. If you have a Corvette, I probably made your outer body. If you have a John Deere tractor, I probably made your chain. If you have a towable recreational vehicle, I probably made your chassis. I built the biggest companies in those industries. And we need more American jobs. I was competing against China. China subsidizes their companies. They don't comply with any trade deals. Their quality, in many cases, is horrible. So if we want good paying American jobs, we got to protect American manufacturers. So what Trump is trying to do with having fair trade protection policies is saying, look, if you are going to protect American companies from being able to sell into your country, which China, as an example, does not let us compete fairly in their country. If you're not going to be fair then we're going to put tariffs on you because we're going to protect American jobs. If we go to war, we're going to want to know that we can build things in our own country. We want to buy our drugs built in our country. We want to buy our military equipment built in our country. We want to buy everything we can built in this country and protect American jobs. So what he's doing is...
This guy has proposed $10 million in tax cuts.
Ooh, I like him already.
He's doing exactly what he said he's going to do on the campaign trail. He's protecting American jobs.
I want to play this piece of tape here. This is Cut 124. This is Japanese executives now admitting and acknowledging they're planning U.S. expansion. You see, that's the thing. How do you avoid a tariff? You avoid a tariff by just making your good here, by building a factory in Iowa or Kansas, Mississippi, or in the great state of Florida. Let's play Cut 124, please.
Based on your research, it sounds like President Trump's tariffs are one of the factors here.
Yeah, Didi, they definitely play a part. A new survey from a Japan-based news agency polled executives at 144 major Japanese corporations, and around 30% said they were expanding their operations in the U.S., and another 20% said they were exploring options for expansion.
So President Trump's 25% tariffs on imported cars and car parts, that is expected to start next week. So tell us about the changes that we're actually already seeing with regards to foreign automakers making ahead of this.
Yeah, so according to a list released by the White House, which they got from reporting by Reuters, Honda will be producing its new Civic Hybrid in Indiana instead of Mexico. Also, Hyundai Motor and Stellantis have announced their plans to set up shop here too.
Senator, your reaction to that very powerful clip. Good job, guys, getting that clip. Senator.
Why is everybody putting up with ads like it's 2010? Like it's 2025, guys. Just use Pi. This Chrome extension takes...
So, once again, I forgot. Hold on. Subscribe to the channel. Gotta plug my channel once again. Gotta beg for viewers. Okay, we're good now.
Subscribe.
Okay, most critical knockoff. Hey, wait.
Senator.
It doesn't even have sound.
Go ahead and talk for a second.
Okay, let's talk for a second since I was plugging my channel to the brim.
Because gosh, there's serious things. 30 minutes of this. We had.
We're almost done. We're almost done.
Okay.
We're halfway through.
I did want to mention that it's so interesting how we've kind of flipped the script with Japan since World War II.
That is funny.
Yeah.
They went from
we went from
they went from samurai touch us.
That was already dead by 1870. I'm talking,
the last samurai was in the 1940s.
Yeah, they went from a strong, manly country to a Japanese anime kawaii
I'm
country.
speaking more on the economical and political side, how different it was to where in 1940s we had a lot of trouble with them because one, China.
Because what, China?
Oh, I can issue China. Here comes the sun. Do 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 do.
Oh no!
They have more than an issue with China. If you know your history, you know what I'm talking about.
Child labor.
Okay.
Among other things. Anyway,
No.
we're going to move on before.
We're waiting on the band.
Okay. But I do think it's interesting because the relation between Japan and the U.S. has very, very much grown since then. I think they've actually become one of our biggest allies in Asia.
Yeah, we basically nuked them and then said, "Oh yeah, be friends with us."
Weirdly enough, nukes did not do as much damage as the stuff we did before.
Apparently, the radiation caused some kind of brain damage over there.
Okay.
Okay, but
Well,
I was gonna make a joke earlier today, though. I'm sorry.
Let's hear the joke.
At least Andre's family doesn't work at Shein.
Say that again?
I don't know.
At least Andre Batista's family doesn't work at Shein.
What's that?
It's Andre Batista.
Like I know I have classes with him.
Yeah.
What's Shein?
Oh, okay.
Shein it's Asian run, right?
Yeah.
And it's a giant warehouse.
Sweatshop?
Sweatshop.
Yeah.
Sweatshop. Okay. Okay. Roll the clip. Pick up your cup, Charles, like the degenerate you are.
Sure is muted right now. Sorry, I don't know. I think someone muted you really quickly. One sec. I don't know if it's on your side or our side.
Sorry, Coach Waller.
While we get that sorted out, we're gonna do a double clip for you, Senator, while we get the text sorted out. Let's play Cut 121.
There were two conceits that our leadership class had when it came to globalization. The first is assuming that we can separate the making of things from the design of things. The idea of globalization was that rich countries would move further up the value chain while the poor countries made the simpler things. You would open an iPhone box and it would say designed in Cupertino, California. Now the implication, of course, is that it would be manufactured in Shenzhen or somewhere else. And yeah, some people might lose their jobs in manufacturing, but they could learn to design, or to use a very popular phrase, learn to code. But I think we got it wrong. It turns out that the geographies that do the manufacturing get awfully good at the designing of things. Now, we assume that other nations would always trail us in the value chain, but it turns out that as they got better at the low end of the value chain, they also started catching up on the higher end. We were squeezed from both ends.
Separating the design and the manufacturing is two completely different things. Senator, your reaction to both clips?
Well, the most important thing is we've got to figure out, how do you build American jobs? Here's how you do it. I mean, I built companies all over the United States. I did business probably in 40 states. You make sure.
What companies has he built?
I have no clue, but he definitely didn't build John Deere.
He sent the chains for John Deere.
Let's see. He's a World War II veteran and truck driver. He's a store clerk. He joined the Navy.
Decorated.
Yeah. And he opened his first business was a donut shop.
Watch that be Dunkin' Donuts.
It'd be Dunkin' Donuts, no. So, following the economic collapse in Florida in 2009, he decided to run for governor as a businessman with no political experience. During his term as governor, he successfully championed more than $10 billion in tax cuts and thousands of burdensome regulations that led Florida businesses to create nearly 1.7 million new jobs.
Disney. That's the first thing I think of it. Like, if you think about it, that's where a lot of amusement parks are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure that you got the best employees. You make sure you don't have regulations that your competition doesn't have. You make it easy to get a permit. You don't have taxes and fees that your competition doesn't have. And if you do, American ingenuity is always going to win. But when other countries subsidize their industries, then we've got to do what Donald Trump is doing. He's going to say that's not fair. Then we're going to do the same thing in ours. And the way he's going to do it is through tariffs. So I'm glad that the president is standing up for American jobs. I'm excited. I think these companies worldwide are going to come back to America. We're going to see a renaissance of new jobs. You already saw it, I think, in the February numbers. Under the Biden administration, we've been losing about 9,000 manufacturing jobs a month. His first month, February, we added 10,000 manufacturing jobs. So I think that's going to continue.
So, Senator, how do we empower Congress to deregulate the ability to build factories and to have manufacturing here? The biggest hurdle to manufacturing in America is not wages. It's actually the regulatory hurdles and the cost of building. Are there any ways that Congress or the Trump administration can lower those barriers?
Well, part of it is the agencies can do on their own. It's regulations that have been put in place over the years. They can eliminate those regulations. They can make it easier to get a permit. Right now, if you're dealing with the Corps of Engineers, it's like it's a black hole. You don't even know how to get a permit. It takes forever to get a permit. So then the Congress can do some things. Congress has passed legislation in the past that makes it harder to do business in the country. We have to say, look, we're competing globally. We got to compete globally. If we're going to compete globally, that means we can't have rules and regulations that don't make any sense. Next, our state governments have to do the same thing, and our local governments have to do the same thing. Some of it's local, some of it's state, some of it's federal. Some can be done by the Trump administration on their own. Some has to be done through Congress. So it's got to be all hands on deck. And what businesses have to do is they have to be very clear. I tell them all the time, tell me where your problem is. If I have to call a governor, I'll call them. If I have to call a mayor, I'll call them. If I have to call a secretary that works for Trump, I'll call them. Tell me what your problems are, because I want more jobs in America. I did the same thing when I was governor of Florida. We added 1.7 million jobs in my 8 years as governor, and the state had lost 800,000 jobs the 4 years before I became governor. So that's what we have to do. We have to go solve companies' problems, and we'll get more great American-paying jobs. And you can go buy American. Stop buying anything made in China. They want to destroy your way of life. Look at, if Amazon doesn't tell you where it's made, don't buy it. If you get online anywhere, they don't tell you where it's made, assume the worst, don't buy it.
So, Senator, shifting gears here for a second, there is a fair amount of consternation around the special election in Florida. I'm told that we are surging. What's the latest that you've learned?
Well, look, the election's not over until tomorrow night when the elections close. We got 2 elections. We got Jimmy Paterno's taking Matt Gaetz' seat, and we got Randy Fine taking Mike Waltz's seat. So we've got to get our vote out. And these special elections are always scary because the turnout is so much lower. In Randy Fine's case, his opponent raised over $10 million because with Act Blue, they were all in. So here's what I tell everybody. Get out and vote. If you're in Randy Fine's area, you've got to get out and vote. If you're in Jimmy Patronis, go vote. Don't take a chance. Make sure, we have a big win. I think we're going to win, but it's all vote on it's turnout today and tomorrow.
And so, Senator, more broadly, why is it that we are struggling, at least on the surface, on special elections? And how do we change the Republican Party's approach to some of these off-year and spring elections?
Ever downloaded a mod that completely wrecked your PC? That's why I use WeMod. I've been using WeMod for...
Oh yeah, we're almost done.
There's a lot covered.
Yeah, that was a lot covered right there.
Basically, he's saying boycott China, drill baby drill.
I really like the jobs because there's 2 parts to all the jobs. 1, you have to have the jobs available. 2, you have to motivate your citizens to actually go work. And that with all of our regulations, we've put it to work. Like welfare, for example, you can turn your application in, and you don't got to go to work. You can sit at home and have government money, taxpayer money, pay for you to do nothing. We've supported it way too much.
That's what the problem is. I support us having programs in use to help those who can't fend for themselves. But the problem is whenever they get abused to the point that they were, is they
milking it.
Yeah, because it just drills the hole deeper and it makes it harder to climb out.
Well, that's why homeless rates are so high up now.
Yeah, go build farms, give them all jobs, giving them living wage, a living wage. That means where they have to work less than 40 weeks a year.
Maybe
35.
Let's try bumping it down. Set a smaller goal first. Maybe, hey, let's get it down to where you only have to work. You don't
have to work Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't got to work holidays. You get 1 or 2 weeks of paid vacation, and that's it.
Well, yeah, but you also got to take into account sick days. But that's another thing.
1 or 2 weeks of vacation.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It seems pretty good. And that you have to motivate them to go work.
Yeah.
And not give them free money to sit at home.
What about those, I'm going to go off to college, Hagen's going off to college. It may also make college more affordable for us.
It probably will, since college is a scam unless you're going for, a sport. Or you're going for some kind of, special degree, nursing.
Meteorology is what I'm going for, and that's very specific.
Yeah, that's a science. That's a science. That's something that's serious that you actually need the degree for. Going for a math degree, I don't think you need to get a math degree.
Coach Williams has a master in math.
Exactly. I'm going to make fun of Coach Williams because this morning he accused me of skipping. I was asleep.
I was having to take a test that I got a 70 on, and that's exactly what Hagen was skipping.
Skipping.
No, he was just asleep.
I was passed out.
Yeah, here's the fun thing. I'm a sophomore. I haven't gone through the meat grinder like these two yet, so it's good to know what to look forward to.
See, I did to myself, as the chat might know, I streamed until 5 o'clock yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, you did that today.
Yesterday?
Oh, no!
Yeah, today. Streamed till 5 o'clock, so let's just say waking up in the morning was not a fun time. I'm editing this out of the video later.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Unless somebody's going to look this up on Twitch. Unless you're depleting the VOD.
I usually get 20 views. Live views at a time, but not constant. I usually get maybe 3 at constant.
If you've seen this, subscribe, follow.
Yes.
Send us money. We'll take it.
No. I'm not looking for money yet.
I'm not looking for money yet. I'm
First
just
person to donate $100, he'll. I don't
No.
know.
He'll
I
jump
don't
off
need
the
money.
top of his house.
I don't need money.
I just imagine Fletcher is like the first donation. Like,
First
Fletcher,
donation.
how do you not have that? Fletcher, how do you have all that money?
I have a job. Actually, tonight at 9 o'clock for the rest of the stream, I will be streaming. I think we're going to try building a mod area where we can test out new mods on the realm. And 2, I'm building Auschwitz. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
I'm building a wolf farm, too.
I'm really worried about joining the realm now because I'm worried about that one getting leaked and I'm going to go to prison.
There's no prison for having Auschwitz being built with villagers inside of it.
Yes.
Some gas.
Because we're learning about Auschwitz in history right now, Hagen.
Some gas chambers.
Worse than that.
With poison bottles. Poisons, like splash poisons. Like, I've already planned all this out of how I'm going to make it work. I'm building Auschwitz tonight.
Okay, so, just so the FBI knows about this, he's talking about in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Don't go looking out in the middle of the desert at, I don't know what latitude. Anyway, start the clip before we get convicted of a war crime.
Okay, fair. We'll edit most of this out anyways.
No!
We just have to understand that every election matters, and we got to stay active. So it's your, you as a candidate's got to do their job. Now, let me tell you, Donald Trump is doing his job. He's done telephone town halls for both Jimmy Petronas and Randy Fine. He's done tweets. He's done everything he can. He endorsed them. He's doing everything he can to get the votes out. I've endorsed them. I've done telephone town halls. I'm going to do everything I can to continue to help them get the vote out. But all of us have to, we have to volunteer. We have to, and you don't have to be in that district to volunteer. You can make phone calls. You can send texts on behalf of Randy Fine or Jimmy Petronas. But that's true in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. Anywhere where we have an election, we nationwide have to be all on board to help make sure we win.
Senator, thank you for your leadership on all this. Just really quickly, anything happening in front of the U.S. Senate this week that our audience should be aware of?
Reconciliation, I think our first vote on reconciliation is going to happen this week. We've been working our tail off. By the way, I saw President Trump Friday night down in Mar-a-Lago. He is absolutely on board to figuring out how to balance this budget. So what we got to do is we got to go back to pre-pandemic spending because we can't be running these $2 trillion deficits. We've got to give the president the money he needs for the border, the money we need to make sure we plus up our military, and we've got to make sure we keep the Trump tax cuts in place so we keep this economy going. I'm very optimistic all those things are going to happen.
Senator, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. I want to play more piece of tape here. Here's how much money that could be raised through tariffs. Now, mind you, this is only taking imports, then dividing the percentage that could come in as revenue.
Great transition, Kirk, by the way.
I actually hope it's not this much because I want the manufacturing base to then onshore into the United States of America. But just look at the enormity of money that we've been leaving on the table. Play cut 118.
The administration estimates the Trump tariffs will bring in $600 billion in the first year to the Treasury General Fund. The president's extra 25% tariffs on autos alone expected to generate $100 billion on top of the reciprocal tariffs. So those tariffs on just about all countries is meant to level the trade playing field. The extra 25% tariffs on autos and others meant to protect 7 industries the president has deemed critical. You see those industries there, autos on the list, along with semiconductors, labor, steel, aluminum, and the others.
And when you look at the entire picture, the entire analysis, it's very clear that we hold the cards. We still hold all the cards. Now, that window's going to close. If President Trump delays this even 2 years, China could surpass us. This is the only window where we could do this. And look, all the Wall Street types, I have CNBC on, they're getting very jittery.
3 minutes left.
Ooh, the market might go down a little bit. Look, I don't want to discount that. That's people's 401ks. It's their savings. It will recover and will recover with gusto. But Wall Street has become short-term thinkers. What built the West? Many things. Christian values built the West. A belief in the divine. But also a Christian principle. that is directly at odds with third world nations. A Christian principle that is directly at odds with why people stay poor. If you had to distill all the reasons why somebody stays poor, there's one major reason. Instant gratification versus delayed gratification. It's one of the main reasons why people stay poor. There are cycles of poverty.
Hey, Spotter Studio helped me take control over my YouTube channel. In order for me to get excited about an idea...
If you look at third world nations, they consume what they grow immediately. They don't save for the future. The West was largely built on a principle of delayed gratification. I might suffer today, but my children will prosper. I might struggle today, but my children will flourish. I might have a tough day today, but my grandchildren will live in a free society. And we have now assumed the instant gratification mindset, the very same one that is at odds with our birthright. China is our chief foe. They think in terms of 50, 100, and 250 years. In order for us to compete, we need to think longer than your 3-month 401k Wall Street portfolio. We need to have the intergenerational maturity to say, my goodness, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And if we fail to do it, if we fail to rebalance, to reconfigure, to redomicile, we will never be able to bring back that domestic industrial base. We have to set right 4 decades of degradation. 4 decades of Wall Street going in and raping 60,000 factories of the moneyed class parachuting in and telling union labor that worked with their hands, you're done, it's closed, it's going to mainland China, it's going to Wuhan, it's going to Shaoxing, it's going to Shanghai. We have to teach America to make things again.
Okay.
We have to...
That is the end of the video. I have one thing. So he said the reference of that we were holding all the cards, referencing the Ukraine interview, which was awesome. Peak stuff. Like, no. Yeah, like
that was.
That interview was fun.
So, lesson for everybody, whoever has to do a debate, like, what was it? It's Zelensky, right?
Yeah, Zelensky.
If you ever have to make a deal that will decide the fate of your country, why you don't call the government? Are we allowed to see?
Yeah.
Don't call the vice president of that country a bitch.
Yeah.
Especially in your own tongue, so you know he won't understand you, because that's just scummy on all sorts types of levels.
Yeah.
I'm not language if you are that type of stuff, but that is what
I
happened.
need to do push-ups on stream.
Okay. So yeah, it's just, it doesn't make sense. It's even funnier is they immediately went to the UK, got $2 billion, and then said, well, I still can't do anything without America, so gives you money.
Gives you money.
Yes, it actually went against what his government agreed with.
Yeah. Way against, like they had signed the deals behind closed doors. He comes out there in his suit, no tie. Actually, no, he was in a polo. He was in a polo.
He was a polo and Adidas. Was he in Adidas sweatpants?
Yeah, in Adidas sweatpants, asking for money from the president, where it's accustomed to go to the White House. You're wearing a suit and tie.
He was wearing cargo pants.
Yeah, like.
Was it cargo?
Yeah, he was wearing black cargo pants.
Yeah, like to show up in a suit and tie, look formal, and speak nicely, and I don't instantly attack the vice president.
I'm not going to the White House looking like this. Sorry, y'all. I'm wearing Birkenstocks and socks.
If we're going golfing, I'll wear this.
Right. So, what's y'all's final thoughts over this?
Poor word choice about that.
The workers, the factory workers. So
you could have picked another word. You said you could have screwed them over.
Okay, so overall, it was very interesting to hear about a lot of these issues. I do think it's going to be an interesting few months with all the tariffs going on and seeing how that kind of levels everything out. Hopefully levels everything out.
Yeah.
I do hope that our relations with a few countries get better over time. I hope a few countries become stronger because of this, including our own.
Yes.
I don't want
preferably our own.
Preferably the U.S. Please.
I really hope France comes out.
No.
Regains their
No, they're
No.
Sorry, they're just gonna surrender again.
No, they're gonna run. Okay, the French always run.
Yeah, because they have Macron as a president.
Yeah. Also, that was the video I'm talking about. That therapy section: the
Ah.
liberal boomer versus conservative son.
Yeah, that's too short to do a podcast over.
But it'd be a fun little one for y'all to react to later.
Maybe. It depends if I ever have to do this again.
Yeah.
For
If you need, either of you need something for college, just call me. I'll be
I
there
got
in
you.
a week.
I got
okay.
you. I'll pay for your ticket.
If you need me
I'm
to
closer than him.
If you need me to act like a cloud or something.
Yeah, I was trying to get Kayla to do this with us, and she's like, "No."
No, I know.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
Like,
but it'd be awesome because we've had a lot of great debates.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Is it just
So, what's your final thoughts about this?
honestly, he made a lot of very good points, and I think that it is a lot more than just your 401ks. Like, look at how much more affordable life is going to be rather than your 401ks. Guess what? Your 401ks are going to keep growing. It doesn't matter. What matters is, how am I going to go buy bread for my family? How am I going to go buy a baguette?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll see. For 401k is very important. Don't throw that down the drain. Like, for the love of everything, don't do that.
I know, I'm not saying throw away your 401k, but I'm
As a
saying...
son of a guy who deals with finances, don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
You'll help me do my finances from now on.
Like, yeah, to conclude, I honestly discovered like the tariffs and like how it's going to be rough for a little while, but then it's going to get really, really good because everybody's going to stop taxing us whenever we buy stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be rough for a couple months, and then it's going to be prosperous. We're going to be like maybe one of the best country to live in. Everybody's going to live here. Manufacturing is going to move back here.
Yeah.
And it's a very short window of time, like he kept saying. Like, Trump has to get this done and get it done now, and hopefully that people see all the good and vote in a Republican like J.D. Vance.
Exactly. And also, brother, you have one too many pictures of Trump there.
So
He's got like a poster of Trump and then his tiny little picture behind him of Trump.
So, like, any final words before we end the stream? And
Okay, final word of advice to those who are going to see this, either on stream or whenever he shows this in class. Think about before you spend. Do you really need that Red Bull today? Question yourself that. Question yourself hard. I know a friend of mine who recently quit Red Bull is actually living a happier life. So, think before you buy.
I buy coffee.
You buy coffee?
Buy a coffee maker. That'll make you very much happier in life, and it's a better investment. Anyway, back over to you.
Yeah. Honestly?
Yeah, spending $5 at Kith and Kin every day is not a good idea. Spending 30 cents to actually make a cup of coffee in the morning is better.
Yeah, thank you for calling me out on my daily habits. Thank you.
So for my final words, I'm going to plug my channel. Subscribe, follow, like, comment on the video. And we'll see y'all later.
Don't listen to his financial advice.
See y'all tonight at 9 o'clock-ish.